I'm Ryan from Sophos Support, and today I'll show you how to set up Sophos DNS protection. To get Sophos DNS protection running, I'll outline the steps to configure locations in Sophos DNS protection, set up your network in common environments, then finally, how to review your logs. To use Sophos DNS protection, you'll need a Sophos firewall with an Extreme Protection subscription registered to your Sophos Central account. Depending on your network, you may also require access to your DNS servers. If you have a dynamic IP, you'll need to register for a dynamic DNS provider. Let's get started in Sophos Central. The first step in setting up Sophos DNS protection is to configure your location. For Sophos to respond to DNS requests, locations must be specified for everywhere DNS requests originate. If a site location IP address is not included, Sophos cannot apply your company's policy nor serve those requests. Commonly, these are the public IP addresses where your local DNS servers are located, or where your client or servers are behind, and not the individual internal IP addresses of your devices. In this example, all client devices and servers that will be using Sophos DNS protection are located in one site. All requests go out via the single WAN connection. Navigate to DNS protection, locations, then add. Give the location a name. The description is optional. Enter the IP addresses where the requests will originate from. In this case, it's 198.51.100.1, or add an FQDN. If your location does not have a static IP, make sure to use a dynamic DNS provider, such as DynDNS, FreeDNS, and more. This will ensure the location address automatically updates after an IP change and avoid disruptions. For a full list of current supported DDNS providers, refer to the linked documentation. Note: any DNS requests coming from an unlisted IP address will be dropped. Once all addresses are entered, click Save. Now, I'll show you how to implement Sophos DNS in several common environments. We recommend making these changes during off hours to minimize disruption during the setup and learning period. Regardless of your specific setup, first navigate to DNS protection, installers, and note the IP addresses. These will be used later. The Sophos Certificate Authority needs to be deployed to properly display any block pages without browser warnings. Under Configure Block Pages, download the certificate. This CA must be added to your local device and browser trusted root CA store. For more information on how to deploy this via GPO, refer to the linked resources. Now, I'll cover 3 scenarios. First, if Sophos Firewall is the DNS server. Second, if a local Windows server is the DNS server. And lastly, if your DNS clients are pointing directly to an external DNS server and you need to point them to Sophos. Navigate ahead using the video chapters and timestamps noted in the description, depending on which applies to your setup. For the first example, I'll show you how to configure your network if all clients and servers within your network are already using the Sophos Firewall as its DNS server. The Sophos Firewall will serve all DNS requests and is configured to forward DNS queries to Sophos DNS protection services. In this case, it's important to add all WAN interface IP addresses in the location if this was not done previously. If the firewall is not the edge device, ensure all possible internet-bound public addresses are also added. This will ensure that no matter which outbound path the firewall takes, Sophos DNS protection will be aware of where those requests are coming from. Log into the firewall web admin and navigate to Network, DNS. If your current DNS configuration uses internal IP addresses and you need to resolve internal domain names, make sure you configure all the DNS request routes. Sophos DNS protection cannot resolve local or non-registered domains. For this example, make sure the clients can still resolve the internal domain name, mydomain.com, and internaldomain.com. So add this under DNS request routes. Any DNS requests involving this domain will be sent to the specified host rather than Sophos. For more information on DNS request routes, refer to the documentation linked in the description. Next, select Static DNS and clear out any pre-existing entries. Then add the 2 DNS server IPs from earlier. Do not use a third DNS server, as the firewall will use this on rotation and would result in some requests being sent without enforcement. Click Apply, and that's it. In the next example, we'll demonstrate how to configure your DNS server in a Windows DNS server environment. All clients point to your internal DNS server and will require its DNS forwarders to be updated. Ensure the public source IP of any potential DNS request from the DNS server is added in the location. Note: if your environment utilizes an off-site DNS server that communicates over an IPsec tunnel or MPLS, it's likely the public IP address that the DNS server is located behind should be used, and not the IP of where the clients are located. Log into your serving DNS servers and navigate to Windows Server Manager. Go to Tools, DNS. Right-click your DNS server and go to Properties. On the Forwarders tab, click Edit. Remove any pre-existing forwarders. Windows load balances these requests, which can result in DNS requests not being sent to Sophos for analysis if other forwarders are present. Add the 2 DNS server IPs from earlier. Select OK to apply the changes. In this last example, the client devices you wish to protect utilize an external DNS server, such as Google. To configure this manually on individual Windows or Mac clients, refer to the resources in the description. In most cases, clients will receive this information through a DHCP server. I'll outline the configuration steps on a Windows DHCP, however, this may vary depending on the type of DHCP server you have. This example can also be used to test single devices on your network. Log into all your serving DHCP servers and navigate to Windows Server Manager. Go to Tools, DHCP. Select the scopes you wish to utilize Sophos DNS protection and select Server Options. Click Option 006 DNS Server. Remove any pre-existing DNS servers to ensure all DNS requests are protected by Sophos. Additionally, if you're using router advertisements in DHCP v6 in your environment, ensure that all IPv6 DNS servers are removed. Not doing this could result in DNS requests going to the configured IPv6 servers instead of Sophos DNS, losing out on protection. Add the 2 DNS server IPs from earlier and select OK to apply. The next time the client renews its IP address or there is a new connected device, it will become protected. Let's move on. Once Sophos DNS protection receives a DNS request from the configured location IP, it will show up as an active site. Security policies can then be configured under DNS protection policies. You can block various categories on a per location basis. Exemptions can also be made for individual domains. For more information on policy creation, check out the linked documentation. Once deployed, verify your configuration and that DNS protection has been installed correctly. Navigate to dns.access.sophos.com. If successful, this should display a Sophos branded page without warnings or errors. If you run into issues, here are some basic troubleshooting steps to take. If you see a certificate warning, make sure the Sophos CA has been trusted in your browser. If block categories are still accessible, verify your network is sending all requests to Sophos. Some ISPs are known to intercept DNS requests, which will require additional services to be disabled. Refer to the linked documentation to learn more. For more examples, see the Sophos documentation troubleshooting guide. Once traffic is received and filtered by Sophos DNS protection, you can navigate to the DNS protection dashboards to view the various reporting data. For more information on how to filter and available reporting options, please see the help documentation linked in the description. And that completes the initial setup for Sophos DNS protection. To learn more about this service, check out the links in the description. All relevant documentation is also linked. For further assistance, view and post questions on community.sophos.com. And go to techvids.sophos.com for more great videos like this one. Thanks for watching.